Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the official Hermitcraft Modsauce server. If I sound a little bit different today, it's because I am still a little bit ill. Do you know what? It's not the worst of illnesses. I don't feel that bad at all actually, but my throat just hurts a little and it feels funny when I talk, and I got a little bit of a cough, which is annoying. But I'm in the mood to play Modsauce, so it doesn't matter. But that's why I sound different if I do. I don't know, I definitely sound different to me. Anyway, let's talk about what I've been doing around here, because last episode we got ourselves a beacon, which was awesome, as well as that little adventure going caving. Do you know what? That was supposed to be something really simple. That wasn't supposed to take up my entire day for recording, but there you go, things like that happen. So anyway, we have the speed effect. That means we can move around a little bit quicker. And yes, there's probably tons of stuff in the mods like jetpacks that make you fly, but I just want to do it the vanilla way at the moment. So, over the back here I have expanded our farms, and this took a lot longer than I thought it would, probably because I had to cut down half of a mountain over here. But yes, we have 4 of these things in total. Now I talked about last time I would have liked to have had 2 here, 2 on that side, 2 on that side over there, and 2 off in the distance. And then I thought I was going to do 2 on either side and 1 over here in the middle, but after I calculated it and had already started building, of course, I realised you couldn't activate all of them by standing in the middle at the same time, whereas with 4 of them like this we do. So on this side over here we have the Enderman spawners. They are doing a fine job. Over here we have some skeleton spawners, and also I suspect there's actually a zombie spawner in there. Pretty sure I've seen some zombies spawning and hearing those zombie sounds as well. Oh, they're making a right racket right now. Look at them all dying slowly down there. Do I have any building blocks? No, I've just done one of those inventory cleanouts. So, as well as that, I've also made a few adjustments around here. If you have a look at the top, I've got it so now a single wireless transmitter, or even receiver, will take the signal and send it to all 4 drawbridges, which looks a little bit nicer. These are also gold chisel blocks. They look really cool. The amount of things you can do with these chisel blocks, there's so many options, I almost don't know what to do sometimes. Anyway, if we go down below, this is almost finished. I want to make a few adjustments here and there. If you remember, I talked about the edges of the blocks just making a nice subtle difference. I want to go around and finalise that, because I like how it looks over here, whereas on this side I don't think it's as nice. Just get a little bit extra detail. Anyway, we've got 3 skeletons there. I need to keep my eye on that and see if there's any zombies. And I was thinking, actually, now that we've only got 4 of these, we should probably combine some of the spawners together. I have a cave spider spawner. You know, a source of spider eyes and string would be nice from this thing. Oh, and those guys spawn as well. Okay. I like those wings. Those things. Let's see if we can see any zombies here. Look, there's one right there. I can see his green little arms. Okay, so they're definitely spawning in there. And over here I just haven't moved the gunpowder, so that's why that's still in the middle of that thing right there. But there you go, so it's the same system as before. I haven't changed anything, and the items just go down to that chest, around to the other one, and then they go over into our storage system. And I thought we were going to run into all sorts of problems with this, but I set it up and it seemed to work straight away, which was a nice surprise. So over here the pipe goes through all of these barrels and into a chest, and you can see it's only inputting these items here, and that's because all of the items that are coming through have a place to go to with these barrels. So we'll be getting ourselves a little bit of bone meal, or bones even, arrows, and also ender pearls, and that's the main thing that we're after, the ender pearls. So let's open this thing over here and type in deep. Was it deep? That's not how you spell deep, that's depth. Deep storage. Wow, I'm making a hash of that. This is what we want to get to next. We want to be able to make loads of these, but I thought this stuff here at the top, plastic, was made with rubber of all things. I know that sounds a little bit strange, but we got those items from the trees up the top here. They have those little things in them. I actually want to make a farm out of this. This should be really simple, because to get the stuff out of this, all you need to do is right click on it, and we can use an autonomous activator to do that. So I thought it was this stuff over here, and I've been farming it a little bit. As you can see, I've set up loads of these, and it turns out that actually what you need to make this is plastic and raw plastic. And where's the... Let's try that again. Yes, there we go. So we can get the charcoal. We've got plenty of clay, but we do not have a lot of sand. I went through all of that making the glass for our new farms. So that means I have to go and do a whole bunch of digging, and for the amount of these things that we need to make, although I should probably calculate it, but I've got a feeling we're going to need a lot of sand, so we might save that one for another day. Oh, playing these mods, it does take me a long time. There's just so much to learn and so much to get used to. Anyway, that's what I've been doing around here, and what we're going to do in this episode is make a few changes to this thing over here. Do you know what I love? I love reading the comments on my Modsauce videos, because I go to them, and maybe I don't have too many ideas for the next episode, and everyone is just suggesting so many cool things to try out that I write down a little list, and we're going to do some things on this thing over here, that's for sure. And the other thing I want to do, we have to go through into the mining world. So I've been playing around. Again, you guys have been suggesting stuff with the autonomous activators, telling me things that they can do that I didn't realise. So obviously we were trying to automate all of this over here. So what do I need? I need some bone meal, I need some saplings and autonomous activators. Let's grab some saplings from there. And I tested this out earlier. It works so well. So we're going to put 2 on that side, 2 on this side, and 1 over here. And then the 4 of these we want to put saplings in. So let's split these into halves and get them to aim high, and look at that, it plants them. So it aims on the block above, and now these things will actually grow. If you remember before, they wouldn't grow, and they wouldn't grow with bone meal either. What did I do there? I think I put the wrong amount in. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There you go, all of our saplings have planted down. Now this probably can grow naturally. I didn't test it because I moved on to using bone meal in this one over here. So if we aim high and we put some bone meal in, then it starts using it. In fact, let's put a little bit more, and it grows. And then let's do this. Straight away we've got our saplings, and before you know it, we're going to have another big tree. Come on. Come on. I've got to tell you, I was standing here and literally just chopping one down and it would grow like almost instantly. Let's see how quick. There you go, like that. And I can just continuously chop them down. Now notice, I'm getting XP. If you remember in one of the previous episodes, I wasn't getting any. I don't know why, but sometimes you just don't get a lot. So what we could do over here is set up something to, well, basically do what it's doing now, but a little more automated with the item pickup, and that is really annoying. Let's go into F5. Now we can kind of see, yeah, so we want some item pickup going on over here. We want some XP pickup as well. Why did I just turn black? That was strange. And then, yeah, we want item pickup, and we want to put in something to pick up the XP as well. And then the other idea I'm playing around with is a way to automate chopping down the tree, but I've just got to experiment with a little. I do have a couple of ideas. And that is not my lumber axe, is it? There we go. Awesome. Good stuff. Oh, and it grew. Grew back straight away. Of course it did. Okay, cut. I have tried many things to get this to work, so let's go through them quickly just so you know. First of all, I started off with pistons here on the side, trying to see if we could get the trees to grow and then push the blocks across. So we could have an autonomous activator over here, and it could harvest the tree blocks when they're pushed over. Now that worked not when I had a regular piston, but when I had a sticky one with glass in front of it. The tree would grow, then I could push the bottom bits along, but unfortunately when the lumber axe activated, it didn't go all the way up the tree. It just took out a small area down the bottom here. And I think I might just test that 1 or 2 more times just to make sure I didn't do something wrong. And then the other idea that I had was to use a drawbridge to push out the autonomous activator. Where did it go? It went somewhere over here, didn't it? Yes, those item pickup things have been annoying me a lot. Yeah, so it goes in there. Oh, no, that's called throwing it on the ground. Now I've got to pick it up again. Yeah, this didn't work anyway, but I'll show you it. So you put that in there, you activate the drawbridge, and it pops out. There we go, and it's facing in this direction. So if we get it to do left click, like that, you'll see that it doesn't remember its status. So when it comes back up, this thing has been reset, and I was very smart. I told myself I would not put the lumber axe in there to do a test. We would see what would happen first. So I almost lost that, but I was smart and I decided not to do it. So those are the ideas that I had at the moment for automating the chopping down part as well. And so I think I'm just going to knock this one on the head for now. I will give it a little bit more thought, but I think we should move forward and just make it so it's still a manual one, but you saw how fast those trees were growing and how fast I could chop them down. It would mean that I could come over here, just chop down the trees for say 5 minutes, and then we would have enough charcoal to keep this thing running for a few hours. So if you have any ideas on how to automate the chopping down process, then leave a comment down below. But I am going to crack on and build this thing without it. So I just had one of those eureka moments where you think you figured out the way to do it, and this right here in theory should work. So let's look at what's going to happen. We've got no blocks directly around the saplings, although we've got one on this side. It is 1 block above. So this machine is going to plant the saplings, it's going to grow them into trees, and then what's going to happen? Well, this one here is going to chop down the tree, and then when we hit these switches we're going to, oh, that was my bow. When we hit the lever even, we're going to pull the wood blocks that would have grown here out and back onto these ones, and these ones are activated when the signal is off. So then they would break the blocks, and then the process can start all over again. Problem is, these jungle saplings are changing into oak saplings. If you look at the top of the screen, although they are still jungle saplings, to us they say oak up there. So let's remove the ones that are here. Some new ones get planted, they all say jungle, and as soon as we use bone meal on them, they start playing around and changing into oak saplings. And for that reason, I've been unable to grow a tree. And that is just the strangest of bugs. I don't understand it. If we go somewhere else and plant some of these down, of course I've only got 2 left. Let's just pick out a few more. It's not like we're in short supply of them. Let's put them down over here. Let's bone meal them. What happens? They don't turn to oak saplings. I don't know why that is. And you can see it's really easy to grow one. So that is extremely annoying because this would in theory work. But since it doesn't, we're going to have to move on. Well, this is great. This thing works like an absolute charm. And I've just noticed one tiny problem with it. The charcoal's getting stuck up the top there. And also, jungle saplings landing on the outside there. I did play around with the vacuum hopper and they couldn't suck things up and over. So what we might have to do is extend the platform, make it a little bit bigger so those saplings that drop out here will then be able to be sucked into the vacuum hoppers. And we got 4 of those, by the way, neatly positioned around the outside. And then this is all I do. I just stand here and chop these down one by one. And they pick up all of the items and they sort them out as well. There we go, there's another one. So let's see how full these things are. Gonna have to keep my eye on that. They've all got 58 by the looks of it. That could indicate that I've made a mistake somewhere and it's not quite working. They should though, they should start to fill up. I think it's because I haven't upgraded any of our, wow, transfer nodes down the bottom here yet. So if we go down below, I can show you what it looks like. Nothing special, of course, just a bit of dirt. So all of the vacuum hoppers bring the items in to this chest down here. And then this thing's going to sort them out. We have a jungle sapling filter on that side, and a charcoal one on that side. That has been hooked up to our barrels, but both of those are full up, so we're going to use some deep storage over there. And that should be the first time that we actually implement it. So, what's happening with these jungle saplings then? Am I just using them up that quickly? 57, 54, 64. This thing should be able to replenish itself. And it has found inventories. Maybe it's not picking up enough saplings because they're landing on the outside here. That could be a bit of a problem. Okay, so we need to expand the platform, but it does seem to be working, doesn't it? Oh, and the other thing, the XP. Yes, I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna do with that because it might be a little bit tricky to add like an XP output as well. I'm pretty sure it's not going to allow you to do the same one at the bottom. Maybe it does. Maybe it switches over. Oh, look at that. It's got both colours on, so it can do both. However, these things don't pick up XP as far as I know. It'd be cool if it did and put them into bottles or something like that. So we'd need another side of this thing to take the XP out of it. So what I was thinking I'd actually do is let this thing fill up with XP and then it wouldn't pick up any more, so we could have another thing to pick up XP. I'm sure there is something else that also does that in the mods. Are you not actually there? Oh, it's because my inventory is full. There you go. Okay, so they can get caught on top of that. I think I might have to change this then and put that down on the ground, level with the ground or something like that. This thing is absolutely amazing and it's technically finished at the moment. There's still a few things I think could be improved. But look at this. It's absolutely awesome. We are producing so much charcoal so quickly and we're doing it in one place because one of the annoying things about what we had over there was that I was constantly running back and forth. Now I have added in something extra that I was talking about a moment ago. We now have an XP hopper as well. Vacuum hopper over here. This one's for XP. All of the other ones are now full up, so they're not going to pick much up. And this one over here has got, you know, the torches as an item filter on it. So it's obviously not the most efficient thing. It's sitting up here, so it doesn't pick around. Well, it doesn't pick up the XP around the edges, but you know, efficiency isn't really a problem with XP and this thing. It's just absolutely awesome. So if we go down below, you can see that we have a transfer node here, but this one is actually a liquid transfer node and use the same transfer pipes, which is cool. I have no idea if you can run both materials and liquids through these. That's something I guess I'll have to experiment with and find out. It can be a little derpy running over those blocks. Anyway, that pipe goes out the back here and we have an XP tank. I'm going to make this a lot bigger. We've got 1,340 XP so far. That is absolutely awesome. And I wonder how much we get on average per tree. So if we let that just fall down, you can see all the XP orbs going into the middle there. And now this thing is up to 1385. I've already forgotten what I said. I think it was just 1300 before, so maybe 100 XP per tree. That is absolutely awesome. So as well as doing this, oh, and by the way, the bone meal is now on the ground. That is a panel, and underneath it there's just a transfer node, so we can walk up to this and just double click it with some bone meal to fill it back up again. We could possibly automate that in the future as well with an ender chest to take the bone meal out of our storage system. That would be really cool. And I'd love to automate this fully as well. If this thing could just sit here doing this and automatically be chopped down, it'd be absolutely amazing. Anyway, I'm rambling about that a little too much at the moment, aren't I? So we have tons of charcoal over here, definitely enough to get another quarry up and running, which is something I want to do. And I have also crafted loads of these deep storage units. So I went over to a desert and I just mined, you know, loads and loads of sand and then used it to craft this stuff, because if we have a look at the recipe, the ender pearls we get from our farm, that's why we needed the enderman spawners. The factory blocks are pretty simple to craft. These are coloured stone, by the way. You can do that like that. And this plastic up the top here, you craft it out of that stuff and then you have to smelt it. So that's why we needed the sand. But there we go. Things are going in the right direction now. So we're going to set up another quarry, I think, and we're going to do it right this time. So our storage here was kind of spontaneous and not very well planned. This time we can take a step back and look at all the different materials that we're going to be picking up here. Now these things I think store 2 billion, yeah, 2 billion is it? It stores a very large amount of items, and I was kind of curious as to when that would fill up. So let's say it sounds like it would store, you know, tons and tons of items, but we actually count how much cobblestone we got from all of this and it fills it up halfway, then we know with 2 quarries it's going to fill up and overflow, or possibly it could. So I need to do that calculation just to be sure. But we're basically going to be doing one thing for one item. So cobblestone, dirt, we'll do one for whatever that is. I think that's lime, the limestone, yeah. Looking forward to building with that at some point. The marble, we'll do one for coal, and then round the other side we're probably going to do it for obsidian, lapis and redstone as well, and then maybe these things. So we'll have like a base of 10 and then we'll have a bunch of chests at the end, and then all of this will be condensed down. I'm also going to look at taking all of these items and putting them into the deep storage units as well, which might be a little time consuming because I'll probably end up doing it manually. So we're going to set up a nice little array of these deep storage units. I should also play around with them with the transfer nodes and stuff as well, but I did use these earlier. DMAC left a couple for me and I thought it'd be a good idea to start investigating them, so they kind of feel like they actually have a bigger inventory than they're showing you right there, and I'll be able to show you that by grabbing tons of this stuff, because although we've only got 3 slots here, we can actually shift double click all of it in there at once, and we can do the same to get it back out, I think, like that. So it's pretty interesting. It has 2 slots up the top here. I have no idea like what the difference between each of them is. And you can see there, 2 of them went in for a second, but as you saw, you can put in a lot more than 2 at once. And then the item that it is there. So I guess if you right click that, you get half a stack. Click it, you get a full stack. You shift click it, you get everything. Interesting. I like this. This is cool. The plan never was to do a quarry this episode, but now we're almost there, almost ready to start up our second one. And this time, it's going to be done right, because we have set up a proper deep storage system right here. Now, I might just change a few things before I get this thing up and running. For example, I am thinking about actually adding a few more deep storage units, but what we've done here is taken the most common of materials and given a deep storage one to each of them, so everything else will go into the chests at the end here. However, if you saw the amount of chests, or at least what was in them, that we got from last time, the amount of ores is pretty ridiculous, and I've actually taken a lot of these out and been smelting them as well, which has taken some time. So I might make one deep storage unit for each different type of ore, but I'm not really sure. I guess it would be really convenient for coming over here and getting stuff. You just look at the block and then grab what you need from the deep storage up above, which is pretty cool. So anyway, the way this is going to work is that we're going to, over here, just have our our transfer pipe connect to a transfer node, which will be the chest on top of the quarry. So that will be all of the items coming into the system. Then for the power, which it's now powered by charcoal. Well, it always was powered by charcoal. What am I talking about? Anyway, it goes out into 4 of these. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to run 4 of them at once, but my thinking is that it will provide more power. This thing can be sped up with those transfer upgrades. I've got some of those lying around. Where did they go? There we go. We've got 53 of those. So we can speed this thing up enough to run 4 of these at once. However, it really is going to burn through all of this charcoal. However, I thought of a way about how to automate this, and it's pretty simple actually. You know that whole AFK trick? If we stand at the side of this block and look forward, you'll see that the sapling's hitbox is slightly smaller than the actual block. So I can hold down click and then I can press Alt-Tab as well. So I'm now pressing Alt-Tab. You might be able to see my cursor moving around on the screen, but if not... Oh, it didn't work, okay. Well, I managed to do that wrong and goof up my recording. Anyway, when you Alt and Tab, you need to be holding down a button, not a mouse click like I was doing, and it will continue just harvesting like this as if you were clicking. So when the tree regrows, and of course while I'm recording it's going to take a long time, you just chop it down straight away. And possibly the charcoal that's just dropping like that could be enough, you know, every so often if we do the AFK method to actually fuel all 4 of these, although the durability of our lumber axe will come into question. Another little problem, because of this edge here, you can see stuff gets caught on top of it, which is a little bit unfortunate. And there was one other thing that I was going to mention, and it was this item over here, the charged Certus quartz crystal. If you chuck it on the ground, it makes a cool little lining animation like that. I like that. There's a very cool little detail right there. Anyway, enough rambling from me. I think we need to wrap things up for this episode. I've spent an awful long time working on this, but it has been well and truly worth it. So I'm going to get the quarry up and running and show you it before we end this one. Well, this thing is about ready to get going. I've made a couple more changes. I've added an ender chest because I had a big transfer pipe going over the top, which I thought was silly. And it made me think we could have put all of this in the overworld. However, I don't know how to do chunk loading in the overworld yet, so it's probably not a good idea. And also, we're on a chunk border, by the way. The quarry loads up the chunks it uses, but I don't know if it loads up the ones around it. But all of that worked just fine, so hopefully this will as well. Also, you can control transfer nodes with redstone, so I've got a powered block next to it, which is stopping all of the charcoal going into our machines down there. So we could put a lot of speed upgrades on this thing and make all 4 of them run really fast. So let's hit the button and let's check what's in each of these. 64 in that one, that one, that one, and that one there, and we can see how much we're using up by right clicking on this. That is going down pretty fast, isn't it? Not quite as fast as I thought it would. And this thing should get started now. I don't see the mining drill. I guess maybe it's placing a few more pipes. Is it outputting any items? Ah, there it is. Whoa! Look at that thing go! That is extremely fast compared to what we had before. I can't even run faster than that. Oh, this is going to be amazing. I can tell. This is going to be done before I know it. I'm probably going to log back on tomorrow and it's all going to be done. One of the things I want to do is figure out, you know, how many blocks equal to how much charcoal, because if we could get it into a number, we could store up enough energy here to do a dig, and that is a calculation I want to figure out, but I'm going to save that for another time. Let's give this thing a little bit of a boost right there. That is absolutely awesome. That's going to wrap things up this episode. I don't know if you can tell, my voice is starting to go, so it's a good time to end things. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, it will always be appreciated, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.